But tonight, there is something way more troubling than Biden's obvious decline for him and his family. There are now real and growing concerns that your president, the president of our country, is compromised. After months of obfuscation from the FBI and the DOJ, that FD 1023 form that documented allegations of bribery from a trusted FBI confidential human source has now finally been released thanks to Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa. Now, its contents are devastating. We're going to break it all down for you with investigative reporter John Solomon, who will join us in a moment. But before we dig deeper, it's important to remember this very important thing. This is not a story about Hunter Biden. It's not about Jill Biden. It's not about Jim Biden. This is about the big guy himself, Joe Biden, a corrupt career politician who is now very credibly accused of public corruption on a scale this country has never seen before, and having top FBI and DOJ officials covering for him while simultaneously going after his number one opponent, which we'll also get to. Now, this may start to sound complicated. It is not. Remember, the FBI and the DOJ did not want the House Oversight Committee, that's Jim Comer's committee, to see the 1023 form documents about several conversations between a Burisma, that's the oil giant in Ukraine, executive, and a confidential human source beginning in 2015. Keep in mind, this confidential source, they call it a CHS, was previously paid hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars by the FBI for other information he gave them. In other words, clearly the FBI believed he was a credible source. And as documented by this 1023 form, Ukrainian oil and gas giant Burisma Holdings, remember, they paid Hunter Biden a massive amount of money to sit on their board. He had no experience in oil, gas, coal, energy, or Ukraine. They wanted him not for his experience, but, quote, they hired Hunter Biden to protect us through his dad from all kinds of problems. Now, this apparently included a proposed expansion into the U.S. market, but according to the FBI's confidential human source, we now have the document, Burisma's CEO told him, quote, don't worry, Hunter will take care of all those issues through his dad. Now, remember, at the time, Hunter's dad, Joe Biden, was the vice president in charge of policy in Ukraine. And one of the big problems that Burisma was facing stemmed from a prosecutor. We know his name, Victor Shokin, who was investigating the company and Hunter for corruption. Lo and behold, in early 2016, Joe Biden goes to Ukraine. He leveraged a whopping $1 billion U.S. tax dollars that was going to be given in loan guarantees and demanded in return, forced Ukraine to fire the prosecutor in 6 hours before he left. And son of a bee that they fired the guy. They fired him within 6 hours. And guess what? Joe bragged about it all on tape. And Hunter kept being paid a fortune, even admitting on Good Morning America, we played it many times, that he had no experience. Now, according to the claims that are documented in this 1023 form, well, help from the Bidens did not come cheaply. Quote, it cost $5 million to pay one Biden and $5 million to another Biden. The Burisma executive, quote, stated he didn't want to pay the Bidens. He was pushed to pay them. And according to these claims, they weren't paying Hunter for his intellect or experience. In fact, the document refers to Hunter as stupid over and over and over again. If you do crack, you're pretty stupid. Anyway, at one point, Burisma CEO allegedly claimed that his dog was smarter than Hunter Biden. Didn't make that up. And they needed to keep Hunter on the board so, quote, everything will be okay. Does that sound like a quid pro quo? Anyway, we saw the same situation in China. Remember, Hunter's now infamous WhatsApp shakedown. He wasn't selling experience. He wasn't selling any type of expertise. He was selling access to his father, and in this case, to a prominent Chinese businessman. Remember, he said in the WhatsApp, that's one of those secret app things that people use so nobody can find it. Anyway, quote, I'm sitting here with my father and would like to understand why the commitment made has not been fulfilled. Hunter continued, I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me and every person that he knows and my ability to hold a grudge, that you will regret not following my direction. I'm sitting here waiting for the call with my father. Amazingly, shockingly, I can't believe it, the Bidens actually had $5 million within a week right after the message, and that money came from that guy's company. Now, keep in mind, according to material found on Hunter Biden's real laptop, his father, the big guy, apparently due to make 10% from one of Hunter's business deals. On the laptop again, Hunter bitterly complained about having to fork over half of his income and salary to Pops. There are also numerous pictures of Biden meeting with Hunter's foreign business partners. Now, I don't work for the FBI, but it doesn't really seem like Joe played a real integral role. Doesn't it seem like it in his son's business deals? Because here's the sad part. Upper management within our Department of Justice and our FBI, not the rank and file. The FBI rank and file are brave people that put their lives on the line and protect our country. I'm not blaming them. But the people at the top in the DOJ and the FBI were protecting the entire Biden family. And yet Biden swore over and over again when he was running that he never one time, ever discussed foreign business dealings with his son. Why did Joe lie to the entire country about that? Now, even the most pompous Biden fanboy in the House accidentally yesterday admitted that Joe knew all about his son's foreign business ventures. Take a look.
You testified that he said that Hunter told his dad, according to Rob Walker, quote, I may be trying to start a company or try to do something with these guys. Now, let me ask you something. That doesn't sound much like Joe Biden was involved in whatever Hunter Biden was doing with the CEFC if Hunter Biden is telling him that he's trying to do business with them, does it?
No, but it does show that he told his father he was trying to do business, and he was
okay.
talking
Well,
to his
that is
father
true. Hunter Biden does
business.
try to do business. That's correct.
Yeah, that's correct. He was doing more than trying. Hunter was making a ton of money, millions of dollars, in fact. At the same time, he was not even registered, as the law requires, as a foreign agent. Those are part of the FARA laws. Remember, they charged Paul Manafort with that. He wasn't paying taxes on much of that money, and he was even deducting money spent on hookers and sex club memberships from his taxes, according to the IRS whistleblowers. Now, the FBI and the DOJ had little interest in even pursuing these charges, and as reported by the editor-in-chief of JustTheNews.com, John Solomon, the feds gave the Biden family a heads up prior to an IRS interview they had planned with Hunter, and ultimately that interview was blocked. And after a 5-year investigation started by the IRS, the DOJ managed only 2 misdemeanor tax violations after felony tax violations were recommended, and then they slow-walked it to the point where the statute of limitations ran out on many years of money that they were taking in. Serious charges. The FBI and the DOJ, they're not supposed to be in the business of protecting crackheads and corrupt politicians from prosecution. So this is all not only pretty weird, it's corrupt. Until you remember, it's not about Hunter anymore. Instead, it's about your president, Joe Biden, the big guy himself, and the lengths to which the federal government will go to protect their golden goose. They protected Hillary, they protect the Bidens, and they charge Donald Trump for spitting on the sidewalk and jaywalking. And as John Solomon points out, the Bureau's former intelligence chief believes that the memo warrants a criminal investigation of the President of the United States, Joe Biden. I agree with that. But tonight, without evidence, the White House is referring to all of these charges and allegations as debunked. You mean you didn't lie to us when you said you never talked to Hunter's business partners? And the FBI referred to the release of the 1023 form as unnecessary and dangerous. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.